What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today we're going to be doing a review and demonstration of the Ryobi One Plus circular saw. Let's do this. So before we get started, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel and also turn on your notifications. I'm going to have a lot more upcoming videos on individual reviews and demonstrations of the Ryobi One Plus power range. What we've got today is the P507 6.5 inch 165mm circular saw, and this one here is part of the Ryobi One Plus range. One Plus meaning the one battery can power over 125 individual tools. That in itself is awesome alone. Now I've had this tool for about 3 to 4 years now. Never had any issues with it. The fact that it's still alive till today, which is 3 to 4 years later, says a lot in itself. I've been using this on a regular basis, meaning almost daily, and never had any issues. From first impressions of looking at the tool, you can tell straight away it's a very, very comfortable tool to handle. It's got over-molded grip zones, so that means anywhere that you'd usually handle the circular saw is a little bit over-molded. So that means you'll get a nice, easy, comfortable grip on your hands with that. Not only that, but it's got the grip zone. So that means anywhere that you'd also hold it, they've applied some rubber coating on there, and that allows you to get a better grip. Now, what I was actually expecting was that over 3 to 4 years of use, the rubber was going to go hard and then you'd start to lose the grip. But after 3 to 4 years, it is extremely grippy still to date, and that says a lot in the quality that they've put in this. So the materials used on the rubber grip zone are awesome. So when it comes to the weight of the tool alone, it's very, very light. It's sitting at 5 pounds, 2.5 kilos, just skin only. So it's very, very easy on the wrist, nice and easy to carry. What I've found is that if you just try and balance it with one finger, you can see that it's a little bit top heavy, so the front actually leans forward, but that's been specifically designed that way. So if we plug in the battery and then try and balance it once again, you'll see that it balances 100% perfect. So they really put some thought into the ergonomics of this. Make sure everything's nice and balanced. It's still a fairly light tool, even with the battery on there. This one here is a 5 amp battery. When we look at the actual guard itself, this one here took me a while to realize that it's not actually a metal guard. So it looks like it is because of the coloring, but it's actually a plastic guard. It wasn't until a few years later that something got lodged in there and I realized I had a little bit of flex in the top and that this was actually plastic. Now, I've dropped this tool a couple times, and to be honest, I haven't seen any kind of damage on there or any kind of cracking on the plastic sections, so it's still holding up pretty well. Now when we have a look on the side here, we've got the little attachment so that you can put your wet dry vac on there to reduce that kind of mess. It came with a little chute that you can angle off to either side to be able to spit up that dust on the side. I have lost that, so I don't really use it. It's making a mess either way, unless I'm attaching it to the dry vac. So for me, it's not too big of a concern. I just let it spit out the back. It would have been good if it had a little blower on there to blow the dust off the front, but it doesn't. When we have a look at the cut depth, that's what's pretty important here. The cut depth on this is at 52 millimeters, which is 2 1/16 of an inch, which is pretty standard for this size of a unit. I kind of wish that I went one size up and got the 185mm or the 7.5 inch circular saw, simply because I cut a lot of bigger things, and this doesn't always necessarily cut right through it. When this is on 0 degrees, like I said, it'll be cutting at 52mm or 2 1/16 of an inch. Now that's what I'm saying at 0 degrees, because it does have a bevel option, so you can see there that we can adjust this all the way up to 56 degrees. So for all your standard joints, this is nice and easy. I'm going to show you guys in a bit, once I get into the demonstration, the difference in the bevel cuts and really what causes me the biggest problems, because this one here is slightly smaller than what I should have bought. I should have bought the one size up, but it's still been doing its job. It's pretty compact, and I'm pretty happy with it at the moment. Like I said, it's got the bevel. The price range is anywhere between $74 and $140, depending on the country you live in. So I say between $74 and $140, simply because in Australian dollars, it's $140 here in Australia. In the States, it's $74. So by the time you can convert the currency, that's what it comes down to. We can see here that it's also got the adjustment for the depth. So we can adjust the depth cut. It's got a little lever on the back. Pop that up and we can adjust the depth of the cut all the way up to that 52mm mark. So it's nice and easy. Would have been better if they had a little bit more increments on the side. So I'll try and show you guys. It goes from 40, 30, 20, 10, obviously in millimeters. But it would have been nicer if they had a little bit of smaller measurement cuts here. So we can actually angle it down to 25 or a really specific kind of measurement, but at the moment that's doing okay for what it is. I don't really use a depth cut that often, and usually when I do, it's usually at around the 20 mil anyway, and I'll show you guys a depth cut a little bit later on in the video. So when we have a look here, what I like about it is that it's got a built-in Allen key. So we've got our little wrench right here that's built into the side, which is really handy, because I really don't like having to go look for my set of Allen keys in order to have to change a tool. So it's very easy to change a blade on there. The blade that it comes with, the standard one, is the Ryobi standard blade. It sits at 24 teeth, which is very standard. It's an all-round kind of blade, which I was very happy with. Even the replacement blade that I've got now, which is the Diablo, still once again at 24 teeth. This is what I found to be perfect for an all-round kind of cut. If you want something a little bit more finer or a nice finish on your cuts, obviously then you'd have to increase the amount of teeth that are on there. So like I said, in order to replace the blade, you'll see up the top here, there's a little button. I'll try to get that in the camera. So we've got a little button here. All you have to do is simply hold that in place and then turn this over to the right. So I'll show you guys a quick demonstration of that, and that loosens that up. So now we can remove that bolt. Once that bolt is off, then we can remove the washer. You can lift up that guard and that blade will simply pop out. So you can see there, that's how easy it is to remove it. Once again, to reinstall it, move the guard out of the way, blade goes back in, washer goes back on over the top, and then we can reinstall our nut or our bolt. So in case you get confused, there's a little direction here, an arrow to show you which way to go in order to tighten it. So that'll give you a good indicator of which way to turn. Once again, finger on the button, and then we can turn that over. And now that's locked. It just has to be hand tight because it will tighten as the blade turns. So once again, we can pop our tool back into here. So another thing that I really like about this is the shoe or the base of the circular saw. This one here is made out of a metal construction, which is really good. As you can tell there, it's had a fair bit of wear over the years. 3 to 4 years of use. It's had a bit of wear and tear, but it's still able to glide perfectly well without damaging any surface every time that I use it, which is really important. I do a lot of maintenance work, so that means trimming down of specific material that might already be painted. So making sure that I can glide this along without damaging the surface is extremely important. So now that we've got all this out of the way, guys, let's get straight into the demonstration. We'll test it out. We'll test out the bevel cuts, test out some depth cuts, and then we'll get into a 2x3 piece of material, and we'll also try a 2.5 amp battery, see how many cuts we can get out of it. So what we've got here is a 2x3. We're going to leave this at 0 degrees, show you guys just how easy it cuts at 0 degrees. Very nice, clean, quick cuts. So you can see there, cuts perfectly clean every single time. If I was to bevel this over even at 45 degrees, so simply turn that notch over, line it up at the 45 degree mark, turn it back over, we can do nice easy 45 degree cuts. And once that's cut, that gives you a perfect joint right there at 45 degrees. So you can see that's nice and clean using it on the 2x3. Now if I wanted to increase the size of the timber, such as this one here, that's just under 2 inches in thickness, this is where I start to run into the problems. Now if I wanted to do a bevel cut on this one here, so once again, still set at 45 degrees. And this is what tends to happen. So as you can see, the cut doesn't pass all the way through, and you might have to end up finishing this off with a saw or flip it back around and then cut again from the top side. So like I said, if I had that one size bigger, this here wouldn't be an issue for me, but I don't really have to do miter cuts very often on timber this size. So once again, another clean cut on this one here at 0 degrees with the bigger size timber. And you can see once again another clean cut. So to use a depth gauge on this is very easy. If we wanted to notch out a section on this timber, we can use a depth gauge to do this. Pop the lever up, put it to the desired adjustment. So we've got here set on 20 mil. And then what we can do is just simply run that through. And then we can easily notch that section out and just remove it with the chisel. So this time around we've got some treated pine, 50 mil by 200 mil, so nice and easy once again. And again, a perfect cut. So the last thing we're going to test, guys, is how many cuts we can make with a fully charged 2.5 amp battery straight off the charger. We've got some 2x3 material here. I've got some off cuts. Let's see how many cuts we can do before it goes flat. So the battery's just run flat and I've achieved 97 cuts, guys. So 97 cuts on a 2.5 amp fully charged battery. That's very impressive considering I usually run the 5 amp battery. So I could almost double my productivity simply by using the 5 amp battery. Very, very impressed. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. My next review will be coming up shortly. Let me know in the comment section below if you've got a specific tool you'd like to see next, and also what you'd like to see in the demonstration. So guys, as always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching. Bill's out too.